Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Anniken and I live in the southwest of England, and I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops. I have a small online shop where I sell some beautiful yarn, and you can also find my patterns on Ravelry and Payhip, and all the links are below this video. I also teach online courses. So welcome to today's video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please leave me a comment. So this last weekend, I had a weekend kind of on my own, almost. My husband has COVID, and so he's been isolating in the spare bedroom, and my daughter was home last week, but she left on Saturday. So I've had most of the weekend on my own, so I thought I would record a bit of a knitting vlog. So that is what today's video is about. I'm working on some deadlines. And I also take you out and show you where I go for a walk with the dog. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. It is Saturday morning, and I thought I would do like a little bit of a weekend vlog. I'm going to have most of the weekend on my own. Simon has COVID, so he's isolating in the spare bedroom. Vanessa's been down for a few days to help out with the family emergency. Just going to do some blocking wires before I knock them off the table. So Vanessa's been home for a few days, but she's going to go back to Wales today. I don't have COVID yet. I've been testing every day since we got home. Simon tested positive within 2 hours of us arriving home from Spain, which is Saturday, and it was Wednesday. I've tested negative so far, so I think I'm okay. I'm hoping I'm okay. So I blocked this one a couple of days ago. That's a new shawl. It was in the magazine a few years ago, Simply Knitting, I think it was, in a yellow version, a bit smaller because it was a one skein thing. So my sample knitter re-knitted it in Manos Uruguay Fino in 2 skeins, and it's much bigger. And then I've also, one of my other sample knitters knitted this beautiful thing. Love this colour. This is Simplicity. So I got this pattern called Simplicity, which is 12 years old, 2010 I think, and the pattern, I don't like the way it's written, it's just badly written, so I've rewritten it. I knitted the, it comes in 2 versions, comes in a triangle, comes in a triangle version and a half hexagon version. So I knitted the triangle version when I was in Spain in May, and then, well, I started before I went to Spain and then finished it in Spain in May, and then one of my lovely sample knitters knitted this half hexagon version. I love this colour. It's a 1 skein version, Manos Uruguay Fino. So I blocked that yesterday, and that is dry. So I'm going to block the triangular version of it so I can get the pattern finished on Monday and send off to my tech editor and release this again in time for the Summer Wool Show, hopefully at the end of July. I'm got my dining room table set up as a blocking space, but I've also got to wind some yarn, so I'm not going to block it now. I'm actually waiting for my daughter to get back from town so we can go out and walk the dog and maybe get some lunch. And it's just gone sunny again because it was raining a few minutes ago. And I was thinking I could block a shawl while she's out, but I want to wind some yarn, and the only place I can set up my new ball winder and Swift is on this table, so I'm not going to block anything yet. Wait till we get back, wind the new yarn, and then I will block the next shawl, which I'll try and film some of that. And then I've got to work as much as I can on my red sweater that you saw in the last episode, because I've got to try and finish that in the next few days. I think I've got like 10 centimeters left on the body, about 5 centimeters of stocking stitch and 5 centimeters of 1x1 corrugated rib. I need to wind a 2nd skein of the yarn, the red yarn, for the sleeves. I can't find the white yarn, so the rib is red and white, and I don't know where I put the white yarn, so I've got to find that. And I've got to find some other yarn for a swatch I need to knit in the next couple of days. And then I've got some design submissions I need to work on. One I have to work on this weekend because I need to send it off to the editor on Monday. So this afternoon I need to think about that and find some yarn to use for swatching and come up with some ideas. So quite a busy weekend, lots of knitting stuff. I'm not planning to go out a lot this weekend apart from walking the dog. I'm trying to stay away from people in case I have got COVID. I don't have any symptoms, and I'm testing negative, so hopefully I don't have it, but I don't want to infect anyone unwittingly, so I'm being careful. So I thought, as I'm basically going to be on my own most of the weekend, I would try and film some things I'm doing, because I'm going to do lots of knitly things. I'm also going to do a bit of housework, because house is a tip and I need to try and sort it out a little bit. But there's things that I can't do because of back problems and things. So I'll have to see how Simon feels early next week, whether he can do some of those things or whether I just have to do them this week. We'll see. Yeah, so that's my plan. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this weekend with me. So I wound my yarn. That's for the sweater I'm knitting, and that's for this new thing. I've got a swatch, which I've got to cast on next week. So I wound the yarn and cleared away my winding equipment. So now I'm going to block the shawl. I'm going to do a triangular version of Simplicity, and I'm going to film myself blocking it, but I will fast forward it because I have loads of tutorials on my website blocking triangular shawls. So it's a bit too time consuming. So I will film it, but I will fast forward it and put some music to it. Oh, and while I'm watching that, so while I wound this, I was watching the end of the Botanical Yarn podcast on YouTube. I started watching this morning when I was working out, but I had a few minutes left, so I watched that. And now I'm going to watch, what's it called? The Corner of Craft podcast. Yeah, Corner of Craft. I'll try and link them below if I remember. But I was watching the Botanical Yarn podcast. Now I'm going to watch the Corner of Craft podcast on my tablet, because blocking can get a bit boring. So got my headphone in. Vanessa left to drive back to Wales this afternoon, and Alfie has been sitting on the back of the chair looking at the window onto the drive ever since she left. Alfie, I think he's waiting for her to come back. Alfie, should we go and give you some dinner? Want some dinner? There we go. He wants his dinner. So I'm sitting here doing a bit of knitting. Got to make sure I don't show you the colour work on this yoke. On this sweater, sorry. There we go. So I've got to knit, I think it's 31 centimetres from where that marker is. So I've measured it roughly this morning. I think it's about 26 centimetres. And I've knitted a little bit since then. So hang on. Since this morning, I've basically knitted from where that marker is. So not that much really, but a little bit. So I think I'm going to knit another round, and then I'm actually going to lay it out on the table and measure it properly, because I want to make sure I don't knit it too far. And then I've got to find the white yarn, because I've got to do about 5 centimetres probably of 1x1 corrugated rib. So yeah, I've got to get on and do that. I'm watching one of my favourite weekend wasting time, knitting time programs, Place in the Sun. I was into it years and years and years ago when it was first on. So for those not in the UK or who haven't watched it, A Place in the Sun is a program where they take people house shopping somewhere sunny. There's a lot of programs on Spain, and there's a lot of programs from the part of Spain where my parents own their flat. And this particular program is from Gran Alicante, South Alicante, which is a bit further north than where my parents are. But they've been to some of the towns that are near where my parents' flat is. My parents have sold their flat, so they haven't handed it over yet, but it's been sold. So it feels a little bit, I guess, sad watching it. So yeah, I quite often watch that on the weekend because it's on a lot while I knit. So I'm watching that, and it's nearly finished. So now I might watch the news for a little bit, and then I need to see if I can find something else to watch, maybe a film on Netflix or something, while I carry on knitting. Remember in a recent episode in April, when I was, or maybe early May, when I was away at Wonderwall in April, I finished the first of these socks, and I lost it. So I finished the second one after I got home, and then I'd lost the first one. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I looked everywhere for it. So I'd finished the first one except for the heel, because the heel's an afterthought heel. So I'd done like a tube for the first one, and I couldn't find it. And I looked in all my bags that I took to Wonderwall, I thought. Looked in my office, couldn't find it anywhere. And then this afternoon, my daughter was sitting in the hallway upstairs chatting to her dad, who was in the spare bedroom. And I went upstairs to get something, and I sat down on the top of the stairs. just joining in the chat. And my bag that I use for Pilates was hanging on the top of the stairs. So I just touched it and I thought, oh, what's in there? So I looked in there and there's my socks that I normally wear for Pilates from my last class before we went on holiday. And then, but because I opened it up, I looked in and I also found this, which is a missing sock. The thing is, I've been to Pilates quite a few times since I came back from Wales, because that was the end of April and we're now in end of June. I've been on holiday for 3 weeks, I guess, so. But I've used that bag quite a lot, and every time I've been at Pilates and pulled out my socks, my water bottle, all that kind of stuff, I didn't find this sock. So that's the missing socks. I'm really thrilled I found it. So I'm going to, sometime this weekend, maybe this evening, undo the waist yarn and then knit the heel, because that's all I've got left to do. And I'm so relieved I found it. It's from Black Stag yarn. I can't remember the colourway because I lost the label ages ago. But I'm so pleased I found this one, because I was a bit upset because I don't have enough yarn left to knit another one. So I'm very, very pleased that I will soon have a full pair of socks. Apologies for the bad lighting. It is nearly 10 o'clock at night and I'm going to go to bed. I have knitted from that marker on my sweater today, so that's quite good. I've just started the first round of the corrugated rib and I found my white yarn. I've nearly finished a round. I've only got a few stitches left. It's got like a short section here, but dog wants to go outside, so I'm going to let him out and then I'm going to go to bed. I also finished my socks, the lost socks that I found, but I'll show you what that looks like tomorrow. I didn't do any swatching for the new designs. I found some yarn to swatch with, but I didn't do anything, so I'll go do that tomorrow. And if you can hear tapping on the floor, that's the dog running around. When he wants to go outside, instead of going to the kitchen door and like barking or something, he runs into the kitchen, then he comes back in the lounge, runs around the dining room table, runs back into the kitchen. He just runs back and forth till somebody lets him out, which is a bit annoying. So he's doing that now, so we better go to bed, and I will see you tomorrow. It is 7:30 on Sunday morning, and I'm up and I'm watching the news, and I'm knitting the corrugated rib on the sweater. I've got about 5 centimeters of rib to do. It's a little bit slower than a normal rib for me, because of the 2 colours, and this is how I hold the arm and the colour work. So when I teach it in my Scandinavian stranded colour work and sneaking class, I actually teach you how to hold it 1 in each hand. But because I'm a continental knitter, for me, it's when I learned this method quite a few years ago, I found it a lot quicker. I used to do 1 colour in each hand, but this is a lot quicker for me. The way I do it is I lay the yarn over my hand like that, and then I grab 1 colour. I kind of stick my index finger out, close those fingers, then I take 1 colour and lift it off, and then I put it back on like that. So you got, and then I just hold onto my needles, take my other hand and pull the yarn tight to tension it. And I got 1 yarn going that way around and the other yarn going that way around. I show in more detail how to do this in my online Scandinavian stranded colourwork and sneaking class. And then, because I'm going to knit one and purl one, the red one is the purl one, so I'm holding the red one at the front, because that makes it easier to purl it the way I purl it, which is Norwegian purl. It's also easier to purl it if you do regular continental purl like that. But I only want to do 1 purl. So 1 purl, and then I knit, grab the white at the back, and I purl, and then I'm going to knit the white one at the back, purl. And when you're doing 1 by 1, you don't have to worry too much about making sure the floats are too long, because they're only going over 1 stitch, so they should be fine. So like I said, I'm not as quick doing this as I am doing regular rib, because of the 2 colours, but this is a better way of doing it. I do have to look at it a bit, which I don't if I do like a regular rib. I do really like corrugated rib. Don't know how many rounds I've got to do of this, but I've got to do about 5 centimeters. Oh, hang on. It's not so easy to do when I've got a camera between my eyes and my hands. I'm trying to peek around the camera to see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm on round 2 now. Can I show you the other rib on the other side? I'll show you the colour work. Yes, there we go. So that's what it looks like on the top. So I cast them with the white. Then I did the knit stitches in white and the purl stitches in red, because I like how that looks. And I'm doing the same thing here. Purl stitches in red and knit stitches in white, and then I'm going to cast off with the white. So I'm hoping to finish this today. I also need to knit the swatches for the new design submissions today. I need to knit 2 swatches probably, 2 ideas. And I also need to write the pattern for the sleeves for this sweater. The stitches for the sleeves are on hold. Where are they? Don't know where they are. I'm a bit worried about accidentally showing you the colour work. Oh, there we go. So the sleeves are on hold, so I need to actually write the pattern for the sleeves today as well. So when I finish the colour work, I can then start knitting the first sleeve. So that's the plan for today, and I need to walk the dog. these are the socks I finished yesterday. I only had the heel and one sock to do, so I did that and I'm really pleased with them. The yarn is from Black Stag Yarn. I'll link them below. It's merino nylon, and I can't remember the colorway because I've lost the label, but it's a violet with some darker speckles, and I really like it. They have a knitted toe up with an afterthought heel using my Aventures pattern in stocking stitch with I think about 30 rounds rib at the top. So I'm really pleased with them, and I'm so glad I found that second missing sock. So Alfie is on my lap. I sat down to do a bit of knitting because Simon wanted to use the kitchen. I wanted to make lunch, but Simon wanted to get some breakfast. So I came into the lounge, so we're not in the same room, as he's obviously still got COVID. So I sat down to do a bit of knitting, watched a bit of telly, and then while I was sitting here, Alfie jumped on my lap. Now he doesn't like it if the yarn touches his fur. Do you? No, you don't like that. So I've got to like drape whatever I'm knitting over him so that the yarn runs across my knitting, excuse me, and not across his fur, because he doesn't like that. But he does like cuddling under my knitting. He always, when he sleeps in his bed or on the sofa, which is normally during the day, he always sleeps under a blanket, so he does like being covered up. So if I've got a big piece of knitting, he likes it because I can cover him up. If I'm knitting something small and the cable of my circular needles or the yarn touches his fur, he doesn't like it, and eventually he'll get irritated by it and get up. But he's quite enjoying it now. The thing is, I really need to make some lunch because I wanted to have lunch because I'm hungry, and then take him out for a walk. But I'm watching a program on telly, so which has got about 10 minutes left, so I might sit here and knit for 10 minutes and let him have a cuddle, and then kick him off. To get him off, all I need to do is let this yarn run across his fur a bit, and then he'll get up, because that irritates him, doesn't it, Alfie? Yes, that irritating? Yes, it is. Alfie, Alfie, are you gonna look? Good boy, good boy. Yes, good boy. So I've come down to some local woods to take Alfie for a walk. These are some woods just a few minutes drive from our house, and I used to come down here quite regularly, especially in the summer. But then last year, Simon had been down here, and he told me they cut down a load of trees, and they'd obviously used a lot of like tractors and heavy machinery to do it. And he said it's really muddy and turned up, and they completely ruined it. So I didn't come down here at all last summer, and in the winter it tends to be quite muddy down here anyway. So I've kind of not been down here for over a year, I think. Can't remember. First lockdown in 2020, I used to come down here probably a couple of times a week on my own, because it's only a couple of minutes drive from my house. So along here, there's a road just down this bank, and all the way along here between this path and the road, which is probably about, I don't know, 20 meters away, it was all full of trees, so you couldn't see the road at all. I mean, you can't see it now, but that's because of all the greenery. But it was trees all the way along here, and they got cut down. I think they've cut a lot of trees right at the top as well. But this forest is now owned by a charity, so apparently it will be conserved as a forest now, which is good. So I thought I'd let you know how my afternoon's gone. It's about 5:30 now and dinner is in the oven. Came back from walking Alfie about 3 hours ago. And I haven't had a very productive afternoon really. I've been scrolling a bit of social media, posted some stuff on Instagram stories. I made fish pies. So I made the filling for 3 fish pies. I don't use a recipe, so I end up with different amounts every time. So I got enough of the white sauce with the fish in it for 3 fish pies for 2, because I'm only cooking for me and Simon. But I didn't have enough potatoes. I topped mine with mashed potatoes, so I only had enough mashed potatoes for 2. So I've made 1 to go in the oven for tonight, which is in the oven now. 1 with mashed potatoes on top, which I'm freezing, and then 1 with just the filling, which I'm freezing, and then I'll top it with mashed potatoes when I have, when we're going to eat it in a few weeks. So that's good. I got my washing in. I still haven't written the pattern for the sleeves on this sweater. Whoops. Should get rid of the stitch pattern there. So I'm gonna finish the rib. I've decided I'm going to do 12 rounds on the rib. I did 6 rounds around the neckline, so I think 12 rounds on the rib is good, because that's twice as many as the neckline. It won't be quite the 5 centimeters I planned to do, but I think that's fine. So I'm going to finish that. I got about a round and a half left to do, so I'm going to finish that, cast that off, and then I'm going to put the stitches on the needle for the sleeve, ready to knit on that tomorrow. And then I'm going to knit the 2 swatches I need for my design submission that I need to finish tomorrow morning. No ideas yet. So that's, but there's a film on tonight called, well, it's Legally Blonde, which I've seen loads of times before, but it's on telly tonight, so I thought I might watch that. Because it's a film that I know quite well and I've seen loads of times before, I don't have to concentrate on it. So I'll just have it on as background noise, and I quite like it. It's quite a sweet film. So I thought I'd watch that, and while I work on a couple of ideas for this design submission, and knit the swatches for that. And once I finish the swatches on that for that, I will start working on the sleeves for this one. But what I'll do, because after I put the stitches on the sleeve back on the needle, I just need to knit a few rounds without any shaping before I start shaping, so I can do that section without shaping, and then I can write the pattern for the sleeves tomorrow and then carry on with that tomorrow. So I think that's my plan for tonight. I still got the shawl that I blocked yesterday on the dining room table. I need to unpin that, and I could really do blocking another shawl, but I don't know if I can bother tonight. I'll see how I get on. Once I finish these 2 swatches, I might block another shawl, but we'll see. So yeah, I've not had a very productive afternoon really, but it is Sunday, so but at least my COVID test is still negative, so that's the main thing. Okay, finished a round, flick my marker across. I don't know how many markers I've lost while I've been knitting on this, because when I flick it across, sometimes I flick it down the side of my chair. So I've got 1 round to knit now, and then I'm going to cast off, and hopefully I can do that before dinner is ready. So I did finish my swatches last night for my design submission. They are here. I can't show them to you because it's all confidential really, but I did finish them last night. I knitted two. I came up with 2 design ideas for a magazine, and I knitted the swatches yesterday evening. I gave them a quick steam press, and then I put them on my desk ready for this morning. And this morning the first thing I did was to do some sketches and do a write-up and work out all the details I need to do and send it off to the editor. So I'm just waiting to hear back now if she likes any of them. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It is now Monday morning. I can't remember if I explained it in the video anyway, because I haven't looked back at the clips yet. But Sunday morning after my workout, when I got in the shower, I put a bit of purple on my hair. So I got this thing called Moroccan oil colour depositing mask, I think it is. And I just put a little bit, I was trying to do like some highlights. I'm not terribly good at it, but I do quite like a little bit of purple in my hair. I haven't done it for a while. It bleaches out quite quickly in the summer. So I just did that yesterday morning. So it did ruin the continuity of my video a little bit, but never mind. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you like this kind of video. If you'd like to see more of them, leave a comment below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And if you are already a current subscriber and regular viewer, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time and your support. Hi, it's me again. Just pop in quickly to say that I did manage to finish those 2 sleeves. I finished the last sleeve on Wednesday morning. I only had the rib left to do, and then I blocked it Wednesday lunchtime and posted it off on Thursday. So I did finish that sleeve, and that design submission I was working on was worth it because one of the designs got commissioned. So I thought I'd just pop in and tell you that at the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.